YouTube. This is Vinamre Kasanaa of the Vinamre Kasanaa Show. आपने टाइटल पढ़ ही लिया होगा. This is a conversation with Mr. Rajat Kapoor. He's been a mentor in the last 2 years of my life. He's helped me see through things relating to art, creativity, film, in more ways than one, and I'm eternally grateful to him for that. उनकी नई मूवी कड़क, which is also a movie that is close to my heart, has released on Sony Live India. It's streaming on Sony Live India. You can check it out. The film stars Ranveer Shori, Mansi Multani, Kalki Koisalin, Tara Sharma Saluja, Shruti Seth, Manoj Pava, Chandrachud Rai, Cyrus Sahukar, and Rajat Kapoor sir himself. You'll really enjoy the movie. I had the privilege of watching it slightly before, and it's a mind-blowing one. उसके beyond यार, I was not going to release this podcast episode because I felt like यार audio खराब है ये वो. I felt like I ruined my opportunity and stuff, because it really is a conversation that will blow your mind open. I don't think Sir himself has been on a platform such as mine before, where you're allowed to sort of talk freely and express ideas in their complexity. तो वो करने का हमें मौका मिला. The entire conversation has been subtitled though, so you can enjoy the entire conversation with subtitles without having to worry about the audio. This is only going to be on YouTube exclusively here. बाकी यार सब्सक्राइब करो और क्या, एंड वॉच कड़क ऑन सोनी लिव. ये कॉन्वर्सेशन हम लोगों ने करी थी इन दिसंबर और अक्टूबर 2019, बट आई थिंक जो बातें करी हैं they are perennial. तो करो मजे. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vinamre Kasanaa Show. Today I have with me a very special guest who needs no introduction, Mr. Rajat Kapoor. How are you, sir?
How are you, Mr. Vinamre Kasanaa?
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm still shaking by the fact that we're even doing this.
Oh, please.
I had the privilege of working with you for about 1.5 months, and I cannot tell you the significant impact it made on me. A large part of what I did here was directly responsible for me starting this podcast.
Really?
But because by seeing the level of creative freedom that you were able to create in your life, allowed me to do something along those lines and start this. So it's funny that we have come back to a full circle. Just to sort of start
No,
off.
this is not the full circle. Full circle will be when you make a film and give me a role. then you will come back full circle. Okay.
I hope that happens, sir. I really hope that. To sort of start things off, what have you been up to nowadays? What is like the big project that has been on your mind? And
Well, this is it's been a year of archaeology. It's I don't want to call it a passion project because I think every film that I work on is kind of a passion project. This has been with me for many years.
Right.
And of course, it's always difficult for me to raise money for my films. So this also went through that. Then 2 years back, I started crowdfunding for it.
Right.
And we responded. We got about 15% through crowdfunding. I put in 35%, and 50% came from a couple producer from Pune.
Right.
So Priyam and Harshita, very kind people. Because of them and because of the crowd producers, the film actually got made. So we shot it last year in November, December. This whole year was editing and post. Right now, as we speak, we're finishing the mix of the film.
Right.
Last year of mix is Tuesday, and then we're ready. Well,
Just to give people a sneak peek of what it's about, based on, since I had the privilege of having to read the script, it's a film about identity and crisis around that. Is
That's correct. That's true. It's true. But Mithya was in a sense about identity. To an extent, Fatso was. Raghuramya was. So I think this is a recurring theme. This one is about identity, right? And about destiny and free will. And also the creative process, who writes and who gets written, that kind of stuff.
Right.
All of which sounds very heavy, but it's not heavy at all. I hope it'll be funny. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see now when it opens,
Right.
and we see the audience.
Do you anticipate a certain reaction, or are you just leaving it at the whim of the other people?
I don't know. What reaction do you want? The reaction that you want is that people are engaged first. Then they're moved by it, and then the third level would be that it means something to you. it becomes meaningful and it's not just, okay, I laughed. So
Yeah.
that is one part of it. But beyond that, of course, so experience with your senses first and emotionally next. And then mentally, intellectually. And so all three things should happen. Irrelevant of what you're making, whether it's a play or a film, this is what you're hoping to achieve every time. Or you write a book, or whatever you do. You hope to connect with your audience at all three levels.
Full sensory immersion, right?
Sensory and beyond.
And that's the fascinating thing about what you make is because in an era of massively mass-produced web content and people are churning out non-stop, I think what is fascinating about you is you're like the rock in the river who refuses to move. Because I think your films, at least to me, from a very layman standpoint, seem to me to have a very contemplative style where even if you could replace the characters, the principles would stay alive, right?
Quite possible. Possible, because the principles will stay alive, you're right, but the characters being changed, I'm not sure how that will impact the film. I mean, if you take out Babuji from Aapne Dekhi, it will be a different film.
Right.
Yeah, but principles will remain the same, that's true. The ideology will remain the same. It will get a different color, I suppose, different texture.
One of the fascinating things about that film is, uske andar, matlab, it's about experiential wisdom over what you hear say, right? Like the idea that
not only what you hear say, but even what you understand intellectually is not as strong as what you understand experientially. You know, it's not as truthful as what you understand the experience.
And where do you think that came from? The idea is that something that you apne kuch zindagi mein experience kara?
I think all of us have that moment, once in a while. All of us do. The moment of what do I know, and is it really true what I know, or do I really know it, or I'm just saying it because I've been told?
Yeah.
We all have that. So yeah, the idea was with me for many years. Like 11 years before I actually wrote it. But you can't make a film on an idea,
Yeah.
That's not a film, that's just an idea. You can talk about it, but you can't write a book, you can't make a film. If you do, then it'll be a propaganda film. It'll be,
Right.
I believe in this idea, yeah. But
It's about you and your big belief.
Yeah, but that's not a film, that's not a story, that's not a work of art, I think. That's my belief. So I think Babuji and the family gave it the emotional spine that film needed.
Right.
Gave it the narrative that it needed.
I noticed that in the film it's based in Old Delhi, and I know that you are from Daryaganj.
Right.
How much of that is like
A lot. It's
Were you recreating your childhood also?
very much. I grew up in a household like that. My grandfather's house was in Katran in Samichok, and we used to spend, I think, 30% of our time there in that house. And it was a joint family. There were all these people.
So the duplex house.
Everything, that tub that you heat the water in was exactly.
दीवार पे लगी हुई काई पानी के साथ.
Exactly. All of that came from my childhood. And when I say my childhood, it's not just my childhood because it's really shared.
Right.
It's not, a lot of people have that experience. So you connect your experience with the production designer, with your cameraman, with all the creative people on the team. And together you find something. So I don't want to say it was my childhood. It's not that I had pictures of my childhood and said, okay, I want this.
As far as your creative process is concerned, this is a question that was asked by many people. I've been a part of the brief where you had writer sessions to sort of fine-tune ideas around your script. But a lot of that happened internally, right? It happened in your inner life and you worked on the script for a film and then you asked other voices to come in. One of the things that I personally struggle with is taking feedback in a way that it doesn't sort of penetrate inside what the sanctity of the project is. Right? And how do you go about that?
See, that's always filmmaking is such a long process, first of all. So
It's not for the impatient.
not for the impatient, for sure. But what happens, or what can happen, is that you had an idea when you started and you wrote a script. By the time you shoot it, by the time you raise money for it, shoot it, edit it, do the sound post-production, there are so many elements that come in that your idea might get mitigated. So it is very essential that you keep going back to why you're making this film. What was that original germ that inspired you to do this? And you keep going back to that. So otherwise you might lose the way. I am very collaborative by nature. I'm very people's person also. And I like interacting with people, and I don't think I know everything. Obviously I don't. So for me, feedback and collaboration is very, very important. It's not that what you tell me I will say yes, you're right. No, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I experienced that firsthand.
It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what you're saying is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. What you're saying is how you react to this, and that is very important. Your reaction is important. It's not that you said, okay, I don't like the scene, so I'm going to drop that scene. No, but I know that you didn't like that scene. So for me, that is enough feedback, and that might spark of an idea in me. I know that I have to go back to that scene now to rework that, or somebody else might have an idea of how to do this better. So that is really the process of collective energy, and I think all that energy and that wisdom of the community goes into the film, because film you make with a group of people. You're not making it alone.
Right.
You write something, but then when an actor comes in, for example, he says the lines the way he feels them. You can't impose your being on that or the character on him. You can't say, no, Bauji is like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bauji is like.
Right.
I found my Bauji from Sanjay Mishra. And if it was not Sanjay Mishra, let's say it was Nasir sir, it would have been different. If it was Amitabh Bachchan, it would have been different. And each one of them would have been truthful and right. So there is no right or wrong. You understand? But once you decide, okay, you're going with Sanjay Mishra and Seema Bawa and Maya Saravan and so on, then you seek your characters through them. Right? So there is nothing which is fixed. There is nothing which is fixed. Till the film is finally mixed and the print comes out, then it's fixed.
Then it's set in stone. I mean, you have the final edit, right? You're the one who pieces all of that together.
Right.
But it's very interesting what you said about community, and that is something that many have noticed when I was working with you as well. Is you have a very close set of intimate friends who are also people in the industry, who are also creative, and who also give you great feedback. What is the benefit of that? Because I feel like what tends to happen, at least when most people are starting out, is they take feedback from literally anyone. I mean, I'm talking about young creatives, right? कि मेरी फिल्म तुमको कैसी लगी, मैंने एक शॉर्ट फिल्म बनाई कैसी लगी, and someone who's uninformed can rip it apart, right? And the effect it has on the person's psyche is like they get discouraged. You seem a very close-knit group.
But it's not as if they don't rip it apart. Very often they do.
They do?
Very often. Of course. Meenal is the first in line for that.
Meenal is your wife, right?
My wife, production designer. Rafe, my cameraman. Another big one on that. So, and these are my closest collaborators. Closest. Production designer and the cameraman.
Yeah.
And I think 70% of times when I read out the script to them, either they go to sleep during the narration, or if they manage to stay awake, they say scrap, change it. Like I'll tell you what Meena said about RK, I'll tell you. She said the opening is fat, which means the first page.
Yeah.
And the last one is fat. That's the last page.
Wait, I was
88 pages in the middle. She said change them. Hello. Out of 90 pages, you like 2. So that it is. What you say? The point is not that you get disheartened or you say you're wrong. That is not the point. She's right because this is how she felt. And you can't deny that. You can't escape that.
Yeah.
So you say, okay, this is how she felt now, and this is what Rafi felt, and he's not happy either with this. So you work. Only way out is work. Without losing that germ that initiated the whole process. Without losing that idea that inspired you to go this far.
That's what I was asking initially. Is that how do you keep the inner world of that idea intact while still navigating feedback? Yeah, because that's really fascinating. Because I remember I was there for that writing session when that actually happened. The one thing that comes to mind from that, sir, is, since you are a very collaborative person, and you know you attempt to make all of these films, the perception in the film community, at least from the film student that I know, is sir बहुत ही महान creative genius है, ये गलती कर ही नहीं सकते.
Rubbish.
And the fact that you
First of
just
all, the idea of genius is crap. There are no, unless maybe there's a Mozart, there was Mozart, there was Shakespeare, okay.
Yeah.
That is genius. You know, that I think we throw these words around too easily. I don't even think I'm very good. Forget genius. Forget great. No, really, truly.
This is news, by the way.
No, because anyway, that is not even the idea. The idea is to make the best film you can at that moment.
Yeah.
To make a film which is better than the previous one, hopefully. You know, and to make a film that will excite you, that will come to your sensibilities, to your aesthetic sense, which will please you, which will engage you. So I'm really making a film that will do all this to me. You know, and that is my only way of judging stuff. I can't make a film that will please you. I don't know who you are.
Right.
You know, anybody. That includes me, or I don't know.
Because you know yourself inside. Yeah.
That's the only person I know. And so when I'm watching the edit day in and day out, I'm saying, no, this is not good. No, this is not good. This works beautifully, but there's a problem. So I keep going back to it till it kind of, I mean, to the best of our abilities. You say, okay, now it's kind of coming to it. Now it feels correct. Now, of course, like for example, Sunny was there with me throughout the whole journey of the film, from not the script, but from the making of it till the post-production, till the mix and subtitles. So it's very important for me to know how he also feels about how my assistants feel about what we just saw.
Right.
You know, I might have a feeling that this is great. He might say, no, sir, I got bored here. Which means there's a problem. If you got bored, there is a problem.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm not going to drop a scene, but I'm going to relook at it and say, okay, what is the problem?
Right.
Also possible that next day screening will say, no, sir, there's actually no problem. Because
so you also deal with the fickleness of people's feedback.
And you're wrong. And you're wrong. Because the film changes every day. You know what happens in the edit? Very funny thing, you know, because this scene is as it was. But you change something, and something minimal. You took out 1 second somewhere else, like 20 minutes before the scene. But that 1 second is going to affect this scene. You know, so you make one change there, and then everything, the structure is like.
It's like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, so it changes every moment, every day. So every day you're watching a new film.
Yeah.
And every day you're reacting to that and saying, no, yeah, bring that back. Let's try this way.
So do you feel like, considering that I think we all are standing on the shoulders of giants, you know, I mean, you have posters of
Hitchcock, Fellini,
right, go down. Do you ever feel like, shit, like, do you compare yourself to these guys?
I did when I was studying at FTI, and it's depressing as hell. It's depressing.
That is a solid one.
Yeah, it was horrible. It's terrible. Those 3 years in FTI.
Which is in Pune, right? The Film Television Institute of India.
Film Institute of India in Pune, where I studied from 85 to 88. When I was 25 till I was 28. So Kumar Shani used to come and teach us, Manipur used to come and teach us. We watched films of all the great masters. I mean, one used to watch these films earlier also at film societies in Delhi. But in FTI, every day you're watching something and then you start, what am I? How can I make a film? I don't know anything. And then Kumar will come for a lecture and he's talking about Schopenhauer, and then he's talking about Keats, and then he's talking about Indian classical music. And so much. I know nothing. I'm not going to be a filmmaker ever. It's very lonely. And it's depressing, and then you feel inferior to these giants, obviously, and you feel incapable almost. And then you start copying, not even consciously, but you start saying, okay, how would Ghatak do this? And then, so that's another process. That then it took me, I think, 7 to 8 years after FTI to really find my own voice and say, okay, now I love Bresson, and I love Ghatak, and I love Kumar Shani, but I'm one of these people. I'm me. And that, who am I? I think that is the longest journey that you go on. Absolutely. So every film that you're making is to find out who you are. I think that's the only quest in the work that I do. It takes me deeper into me. And I think that's the only worthwhile journey to make in every life.
I was gonna ask you, what is your why? I guess you answered that, because what I feel is like, even if that's speech, like we're doing a podcast here, or even if that's writing, or even if that's making a film, it's articulation of who you are, and in that process of expression, you find out, oh, this is what I am, right?
Exactly.
You cannot preemptively say this is who I am, because then you don't have your subconscious coming out, right? Almost.
Exactly. So if you say this is who I am and so I will make this, it's already flawed. You make something which you have to make. It's almost like that. It drives you. You're not the driver. That hook is driving you. You are saying, I have to make this thing. You don't even know why. And when you make that film, once you make that film, maybe then you look back and say, Acha, ye chal raha hai hamare andar. You know? Then you maybe understand yourself a little bit.
And what about like when you have the seeds of ideas, right? When it's just a seed of an idea and you're toiling within your head. I know that you have a very extensive library of things and you've read a lot, and especially I think existentialist philosophy, that's definitely a huge one, as you mentioned Schopenhauer, but then also Keats. How does that play a role? Like, since you have, again, standing on the shoulder of giants, so many tremendous books and films behind you, do you ever refer to them when you get lost in the process?
No. I'm not the research kind of person. My only research is
Yourself.
within. I'm not made a film where I say, okay, I have to, or I don't think I'll make a film where I say, okay, I want to make a film about that subject. Let me read out. And then that's not me. People of course do it, and it's a valid process,
Right.
but it's not the one for me.
You remind me of Charles Bukowski when he says, "Don't try."
Yeah?
Right? It's that idea. Don't try. You know,
Yeah.
your best work will come from simply being who you are.
It's very difficult that, I mean, it sounds very good, but it's very difficult to be who you are, in life and in your work. Because, like you said, there is so much around us. There is a history of thought, of civilization, and you're a part of that. So obviously all of that is gone inside you.
Right.
So how do you know that this is me or this is not me? Or it was his, but now it is mine.
Right.
Because it has become a part of
Yeah,
me.
there's the whole idea of like the collective unconscious that our Carl Jung talked about, that our civilizations have, where we have internalized traumas, but also hidden gifts that we have no idea about. That ancestors like probably lived in caves and did something heroic, and then we're struggling here, and suddenly we realize we have internal power. Like, what the hell happened? It's just your unconscious playing out. But talking about that, where you're sort of able to separate yourself from whatever else is happening outside and simply dive deep within. आपके हर में बड़ी fascinating बात है कि you haven't had a phone the entire time. When the technology came around, you just were like, fuck it, I'm not gonna have a phone.
I didn't get it.
It's not as a means of communication, not when the world was changing around you.
There is email, the world has changed, and I make use of that. I was on social media for a long time. That's lovely. As long as it's lovely. But there is email, so all my work is on email.
So what about navigating through the streets of Mumbai without a phone? You rely on...
Come on, everybody did that till 20 years back. It's not
It's
a
just, to me it's daunting.
भाई साहब ये कहाँ है? वो पान की दुकान वहाँ से लेफ्ट ले लीजिए. खत्म हो गई बात. Simple है.
I just
It's because you never did this without a phone, so you don't know any other way.
That's true.
Like
And
I
then
do.
I was in 9th grade and I was illegally driving a car, and then I used a GPS to get back home because I was lost. So that was pathetic with directions. Absolutely. That's crazy. So like, when you have to say, I'm not able to make it, but you're like midway through driving, what do you do? I mean, the only reason I ask this is very peculiar.
I find a PCO, I stop and I say, excuse me brother, can I borrow your phone?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That should be a film alone. Living without a phone in 2019.
Yeah, he's a bit like Bauji then, no? Bad character, obsessive guy. Why don't you have a phone? I don't have a phone.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Babaji attracted a lot of sycophants for some reason, because he seemed to have an answer
Right.
that everyone else, inko pata hai.
Right, it's because in the beginning, they thought he was mad. And then they were attracted to that madness. And then they became his jailers.
Yeah.
disciples. And then he threw them out and he said, what a rude brother. So, I think that was interesting. But he was being who he was. He was on his journey. That's why he says, मैं तो अपने पैर का जूता दूंगा यार. आप लोग मेरे जूते में पैर डाल दो तो आपका थोड़ी होगा. फिर आप कह रहे हैं वो काटेगा ही भाई. Find your own experience. That's what I'm saying. And of course, disciples who understand that.
That's why the disciples. I mean, but there is a case you made for apprenticeship, right? Which is different from being a disciple,
Sure.
or like being a sycophant.
But this is what Buddha says. I can show you. I can point the door to you. You have to walk through the door.
That's true.
Or I'm showing you the moon with my finger, but my finger is not moving. The moon is still there. No, don't look at my finger.
Go to the moon, right? Yeah, because I think we're big for striving, sir. Right? Aren't we?
I think so. When it was very clear when we had our first child, Rabia, she was 3, 4, and you see how much they want to learn. It's incredible. And then it strikes you that this quest for knowing is built in. You want to know, you want to grow. So there's no need for a school in that sense. There's no need for somebody to tell you to learn something. The quest is within. And then you see that in every child. When the child tries to stand up and walk, why? The thing is, there is something else to be achieved.
It's almost like it is physically ordering the world around him and making sense of what is happening, right? Like, and I think we do that through language. We also do that through touch.
Yeah.
And through observing who we are and how we act in different situations, how our bodies move in different situations, which brings us to a great segue in the conversation. Bodies moving through situations, theatre. Right? I watched. I had the pleasure of watching Hamlet the Clown Prince at the theatre last year, and that's when we first met.
Are you here in Feb?
I am.
We have all 4 plays at Italy.
See that? That's a plug for the play.
It's for you. Lear, as you like it, Macbeth and Hamlet.
Okay.
All 4 shows. So February 6, 7, 8, 9, Thursday to Sunday. Come.
Will you there?
We have a ball. It's like a party.
I will be there, sir. With all the clowns and all the people that you have in your collective. How is it different from like acting for a film? You said it's a very patient process, but then recreating a play every single night. What are some of the nuances of that?
It's a tough job. For actors, it's a tough job.
Yeah. Why do they do it though? I mean, they have all these great roles everywhere.
Why do they do it? Because it's a great high. It's an incredible high.
Yeah.
The high of theatre is unmatched. It's really absolutely unmatched. As an actor, if you're doing a film, you're happy. You do your
Really?
job. You do your job, you get your money and come back home. You never, when you watch the film, maybe you say, oh wow, bloody. But when you're doing it, it's a boring process for an actor, not for a director. In films, because film is really a director's medium. But for an actor, it's about submission and you don't really know the whole picture also. You're just being part of one shot right now. And maybe after a week you'll take another shot which will connect to this. So in that sense the process is broken. And you never get that high. But on stage, from the beginning of the play to the end, 90 minutes, getting constant feedback from the audience. If it goes well, you're near the gods. There's no denying that. I've never done drugs, but I imagine this is what it will be like. You know, when the Greeks did theatre and the whole idea of stage, it's a raised platform.
Yeah.
The actors are closer to the gods.
Because they're appealing to the senses.
Because
they're appealing to the senses in a way that
I suppose
transcends everyday life, right? I mean, transcendence also implies a level of elevation.
Absolutely.
Right?
So and that elevation I'm saying is real. It's not only metaphorical, because you feel that as when you're on stage. You feel it. You're really close to the gods.
Have you acted in this?
I act once in a while. I do a role in Hamlet sometimes, of Popo, the director. I've done a few shows as Macbeth, actually, when he was not away. Though I'd rather not, I'd rather sit outside and watch the show. Because I feel that's my job to watch every show and to kind of see what's going wrong or what is not going wrong. Yeah, and then I've done shows of See the Clown, waiting. So I've acted on stage, and the feeling is, so I know that feeling. And Vinay, who does all 4 shows as you like it, What's Done is Done, Hamlet the Countess, and Lear. And sometimes we've done these 4 shows over the weekend. So 2 shows on Saturday and 2 shows on Sundays. 2 plays on Saturday and 2 plays on Sundays. And he does it. And he ends with Lear, which is a 100-minute monologue. He's alone on stage. And very often I ask him, how do you do this, man? How do you do this? And he says, well, it's our audience is giving me the energy to go on. And it's true, I completely believe that. It's just, you thrive on that, what you get, and you're able to give it. It is exhilarating. I mean, for those who can be on stage, they must be on stage.
It must be crazy to see the people's eyes light up and see that every move that you do, maneuvers a different movement.
There are shows when you feel that doing nothing can do. And that is really what they say, sometimes in sports, that you're in the zone.
Mm-hmm. The flow state, they talk about the flow state.
And then Roger Federer, sometimes Virat Kohli will be in that state, in that zone.
Right.
Sometimes that happens on stage. You're in a zone and you know nothing can go wrong. Everything you say will boom. Every little move you make is just it. It's like it's grace. It's really grace. The very funny thing that I believe that very strongly. They say about grace. हाल भी बोलते हैं सिविलिज्म हाल आ गया उसको that there's nothing you can do to it. The only thing you can do is to be in a state of preparedness to receive it when it comes to you.
Having an open heart.
And more heart and hands and people. So that I think that I believe in. Looking for theatre or cinema. You rehearse the same scene, you rehearse over a period of 3 months to create a new play. And actors, for example, go from there and sit there and then jump and see this time. And they do this 100 times or 500 times. For what? So this is just the mechanics. It's the mechanics. And then they find reason to do it. They find whatever the rationality is, and then find an emotional reason to do this. And then once they're ready, once they become when they're ready for the grace, they can come to you.
When you say grace, you mean
A state of grace.
a state of grace, as in they're embodying the character, or they've.
Grace is something on mindset.
Yeah.
It's beyond. Like I said, you can't ask for it.
The same idea of don't try.
But it's a religious thought, that idea of grace and heart. And I'm not a religious person at all.
I know that.
But this. So maybe it's not religious, maybe it's just spiritual. And because I know this happens. I know it's possible to be in that way.
I mean, anyone who's an athlete or a musician can attest to this fact.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
After like when you talk about preparedness, you start off with knowing the rules, and you start off badly.
And you rehearse,
right?
and
you rehearse and
practice.
rehearse, and then suddenly it's almost like your second brain turns on, but you're not judging yourself, and the hands and the feet and you say things and you do things and you surprise yourself in the end, and you look around and everyone's stopped. And everyone's in ecstasy and awe, and you're like, what the hell happened? And then you get back to your senses, like, oh, I just did that.
That's magic.
That is magic.
There's a story, I think, of Lawrence Olivier. I'm not very sure.
Who?
Lawrence Olivier, I think.
Lawrence.
He was playing Hamlet. I think it's him. And there was a show like this. He knew. He killed it. And after the show, he was very depressed. So his friends went to the green room and says, Lawrence, don't you know this is one of the greatest show? And you just phenomenal. He said, yeah, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how it happened. And I don't know if I will be able to do it again.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's comes to you.
I feel like we should stay on this tangent, but I did want to talk to you about clowns.
Yeah.
That's something that has fascinated me. When I was even working with you, there were like these boxes full of costumes and which appealed to me sort of because I was working in casting with you, something that had no relation to it. What is your fascination with clowns?
I did a play in '99 called Sea for Clown. That was my first play with clowns. And the idea was just to do a play with clowns. I don't know. The fascination, I think, comes from Chaplin films, Buster Keaton films. I think they're still my favorite clowns in the world. I think Chaplin is probably the greatest filmmaker ever. So I completely, absolutely love Buster Keaton and Chaplin. And not now, I mean, always have. Maybe it comes from there. Then after we did See for Clown, I realized that this is a great place for a metaphor of clowns are performers. Clowns are, and then they can be many ways. So, also, working with clowns gives me a great theatrical experience because I'm very engaged in cinema, which deals with the real, and only deals with the real. And theatre is only deals with the imagined, or the imaginary, or the unreal. So I think the clowns become very theatrical. They have that possibility of great theatre. And then they give you. Then we did Hamlet with clowns, and I thought that was a great idea. When we were doing it, of course, we didn't know if it's a great idea or not. We just thought we'll try it. It could be a disaster.
Yeah.
But it worked. So I thought it would be nice to have clowns do a classical text and let's see what they do. And we've done that. Then we went to Lear, and I said, okay, it has to be different from Hamlet, so we'll have just one clown. So let's see what happens with that. And then I got excited about the idea. Let's do 4 or 5 Shakespeare plays all with clowns. How will that be? So that became then Macbeth, and I tried it out. So now we actually have 4 Shakespeare clown plays running simultaneously.
Is that a precedent for the world?
I don't know the word.
I definitely look it up after this podcast. That sounds very intriguing.
But it's great fun. It's great.
Also, what's fascinating, sir, is that you mentioned something about the idea of theatre, by definition, being theatrical, and clowns being theatrical, and films, since you're a person of the cinema, having to do with the real, right? So, in the day, you're working on the cinema aspect. At night, the theatre turns on, and it's like you're living this paradox.
No, there's no paradox. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful to be a part of both worlds. Another big difference is that when the play dies every day, you have a show and it's gone. Finished. It's gone. It's part of your memory. That show doesn't exist anymore. And the other thing with cinema is that it lives. So I'm really in both worlds, and I'm very happy to be in both worlds of life and death.
There was this one question that a filmmaker friend of mine wanted to ask you desperately, so I said, let me be the medium for that. Is it weird to direct yourself as an actor?
No. RK was difficult though. Otherwise, no.
No?
No.
Do you admonish yourself, Rajat, you're not doing it well?
No. Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to act in vegetables. I didn't want to act in art. These were roles offered to other people and they couldn't do it. So finally I had to step. RK had to do it because that is the kind of film it is. Because it is about who's making this film in a way. RK I was very sure that's good to be. Other than that, I didn't really want to. But it's not difficult at all. It's not difficult at all. Why should it be difficult? You know whether the shot has gone well or not. You know it internally. Even without watching it on the monitor. And now there is a support of the monitor, which was not there earlier.
Right.
For example, in Rajat Kapoor's time or Guru's time, there was no fucking monitor to say, hey, keep working it. But now that support is there, your cameraman is there to tell you, your assistants are there to tell you, sorry about the thing. Simple.
I see.
But very often you know yourself that it can be better. Or this was good.
But when you were in the role, when you were literally acting at the time, are you also in the director's hat somewhere in the back?
Of course.
Where he was thinking,
This is a film. It's a film, so we never take off the director's hat. I should show you some of the making of in Kadak, because that was difficult because it was an ensemble piece.
Mhm.
So the camera is going crazy and I'm sitting there, and suddenly I know that some other character has covered me, so I'll shout an instruction and the character moves and I'll be acting again. You are sitting, of course. And again, it's not a big deal because there is going to be another take.
Mhm.
It's not like good.
Right.
But for me, it's not difficult at all. Because anyway, I'm not the kind of an actor who prepares a lot, and I know the script better than anybody else. So
Right.
that helps. Baaki sab editing mein. I know.
You've never directed a short film?
No. Well, one, Hypnothesis. And Tarana, which was a documentary. Hypnothesis was a thing I did. But again, that was given to me. That you have to make a short film with these 5 given actors for FTA. It was great fun. I think short films are very difficult to make.
Yeah. More difficult than.
More difficult. And you don't ask, for example, I was going to say Marquez, but he has written short stories. Charles Dickens, for example. Why did he write a short story? Because I'm a novelist. Tolstoy. I'm a novelist. Short story is really another format. Chekhov is a great short story. Great. So is Borges. Why is Borges not written novel? Short story, right? It's really, and I think it's phenomenal that in 5 pages, a Chekhov or a Borges or Raymond Carver,
Right.
create a fucking world, universe, people, moment, situation, emotions in 5 pages. And you think, wow. I mean, great masters.
Right.
It's really, but it's really another craft. Just because it's written on paper, short story is not the same as a poem, it's not the same as a novel,
Right.
not the same as a play. These are all different things, So a playwright is not a novelist, a novelist is not a playwright. Understands that.
And you had a distinct idea of you always wanted to make short films, right? Ever since you
Short
a feature film.
Yeah, my short films didn't even exist here when I started.
No, I mean, I'm talking about like you having figured out your why in life, right? Because you talked about how your films allow you to express yourself and figure out who you are, right? Knowing that you wanted to make films was something you discovered early on.
Yeah, very good. Like by the time I was 15.
Very lucky.
Very good, very good. Yeah, first of all, very lucky because I knew what I wanted. And then lucky because it happened, or I made it happen, whatever you want to look at it. I know that's great fortune to know what you might want to do. And then to find that actually you made the right choice. This is really what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how or why I decided to be a filmmaker at the age of 15.
Do you think your film school education helped?
I think so.
Or do you think self-taught filmmakers can also make it today?
Of course they can. Of course they can. I mean, I'm not never went to film school.
Yeah.
Many great filmmakers never went to film school. For me, it was very good. And I would recommend it to anybody who can go to film school. It gives you 2-3 years of your life to just focus on one thing, which is great. Whether a writer should go to a school or not go to school or just start writing, I think some kind of education always.
Always sounds right. I mean, there's so much debate nowadays, even in the entrepreneurship marketing community, around not going to universities, right? Because they feel like you can all learn it on the street. And I've actually proven to myself that I can do both on both sides. I had a degree in advertising, and if I did not do that, I would probably have to, spend extra 4 to 5 years learning how to make content. But because I had the sensibilities of how an ad is made, right? I had the upper hand, whereas someone who was starting out or something else did not. But there's especially in the age of content, I see so many of my friends pick up cameras and start recording stuff, and there's a very guerrilla style
Which is great, which is great. That's it. But I'm saying my counter argument to this has always been that you always have a pen and paper. But that doesn't make you a good writer, does it? Just because the camera is available and it's cheap. And
You also understand the test of publishing, right? Most of the writers say that
not publishing, forget publishing. I'm saying good work. Are you creating good work? Just because I can shoot something, just because I can write, just because on the social media I can say whatever does not make me. Finally it has to stand the test of time, talent, something. Say, okay, this is a work which means something to somebody else also. नहीं तो सब लिख ही सकते हैं, कोई शक नहीं।
ब्लॉग तो बना देता है अभी वर्डप्रेस के ऊपर, right? Sir, to start closing things off, this is like, I hate this question, but it helps so many people. And what is your one advice to young creators, people struggling out there?
If you're struggling, it's good. There's something will come out of it. See, I really feel that making films is very sickness.
Yeah.
It's a disease.
It's sickness.
If you're not mad enough, if you're not passionate enough, if you're not ill enough, we'll give it up. We'll say it's weird. It's not okay. And I believe this of all filmmakers, whether they're commercial or not, whether they're good or bad filmmakers, even bad filmmakers. They're doing it because there's a desire to do it. It's not about money only. Very often it is.
Yeah.
But even the bad filmmakers are doing it because something is driving them to make that film. And you may or may not like the film that you watch, but they've gone through a lot of shit to put this together.
Right.
Even if it's a film with big stars, they've gone really begging the stars and humiliated by the stars and so on to get there. So there is enough drive and passion in them to do whatever they do. Good film, bad film is another. Having said that, don't sell yourself too cheap.
Yeah. Don't underestimate yourself.
Don't overestimate yourself. Don't sell yourself too cheap. And don't be too pleased with the mediocrity. Because
That's the case for it very hard.
That's a problem with all of us. We are pleased too easily.
Yeah.
अरे ये तो कमाल हो गया, नहीं भाई कमाल नहीं हुआ, कुछ नहीं हुआ, very ordinary. Still we are that. One has to keep pushing the envelope a little bit more, not for anybody else but for yourself. You have to say, I've done a little more than I would have, or I did last year. Or, this is a step closer, a step further, or something on my journey. And it's important to dream. It's important to dream that it can be done. And it will be done only if you start with a dream.
And you rely on internal motivation for that, right? Other people cannot give it to you.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not sick enough, you will not do it.
Yeah.
Nobody else can ask you to
Because
do
you're going to
it.
lose the long-term game, right? Only
You're
relying
doing
on
nothing. It's a job. Why are you doing this? You're not doing this for a job. I didn't come to make films to make money or to because of work. Vinamre, I feel this very, very often that in the world of 30, 25, 30 years that I've been working, I've not worked for a single day of my life.
it's your life.
Yeah, so I never feel like I've worked. If I go to act in a film, I have a ball, if I'm doing a play, it's a play. If I'm making a film, wow, I'm privileged that I'm allowed to make a film. Wow, what a life.
I'm sensing a lot of gratitude here.
Yeah, there is lots, of course. Of course, every day, every moment, there's a lot of gratitude. We're talking of privileges, of how you're privileged if you know what you want and if the choice is right, and then you're allowed to do it. So no matter how much I crib about not getting enough money, producers not backing you, audience not coming to your film, all that is fine. All that is there. But beyond it all, I'm very, very grateful that I'm allowed to do what I do.
I think that's a winning recipe, and it will prove to be so. So, that what you were saying about the idea that filmmaking kida and nahi karunga to I will die, right? Very literally, in psychology, there's this concept. There's a Big Five trait scale, and on the Big Five trait scale, there's openness to new experiences. In colloquial terms, it means creativity. The case for that is if you're really high on that scale, if you don't produce consistently, if you're not creative, you die. And so what you're saying is literally a testament to a very proven psychological phenomenon. That if you're not creating, even through voice, speech, thought, you die. Because it's fundamental to your personality.
Well, it is death anyway. Even if you don't die literally, people like that will die. I agree with you.
No, I meant a metaphorical death. I was not talking about a literal death. No, not biologically. But your soul, you just wither away.
You will. If you're not creating, you will. Anybody will. I'm saying not only these 1% or 0.5% people, but anybody, and you see them withering away. You see joyless faces and you know what has happened. What has happened is that your soul is dead, unfortunately. Because life was not meant to make money and to pay rent. Life was not meant for that. It wasn't designed for that. Life was meant for you to dance. Life was meant for you to laugh. And if you're not laughing, if you're not dancing, it's dead.
Let's hope we can all play more. That's the case for play. Mr. Rajat Kapoor, sir, it's been an honor for you to come on this mic and do this. I'm beyond privileged.
What a pleasure it was talking to you.
I am grateful that this even happened. Are there any things that you would want to tell people about projects that you're doing? Nothing. This is just between us then. I just love it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. अब तू बोलेगा सर ये क्या रिकॉर्ड हुआ नहीं एक बार
नहीं सर मेरी भक्ति रहती है कभी ऐसा हो जाता है सीरियसली आई एम नॉट इवन किडिंग आई एम नॉट किडिंग